Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 6, Episode 23, and the name of this episode is The Road to Hell. This episode was crazy, because pretty much what was shown in this episode, there are a lot of traps that are about to be set, and even more plagues are going to descend. So let me begin. The episode opens up, you know, where Melissa has jumped off the building and, you know, there's blood on the concrete. So pretty much, yeah, Melissa's dead. But it's not until the paramedics get there that they confirm that she's dead. But while the psychiatrist is checking on Melissa, Hannah and Veronica are going back and forth, you know, and then, like, Veronica's talking all this shit, like, I can't believe she did this, old dumb bitch. And then Hannah's like, won't you watch your mouth? And she says, look at you with your old dumb country ass. Like, they were just going back and forth, throwing jabs at each other, you know. And she's saying, and then, like, Hannah was like, you know what? I'm about, like, 5 seconds off your ass. And she's saying that, okay, 1, 2, 3, where you at, bitch? like Veronica, you gonna keep trying, Hannah gonna dust your ass. She keep on playing. Like, you forget Hannah from the hood too, so Hannah probably could actually, you know, she could probably rumble and tumble with Veronica on some real shit. And then, like, she up there talking like, oh, look at you, Hannah. Oh, suppose you think you all high and mighty. Ain't nothing but a cussing ass Christian. And then, like, Hannah had to, like, check Veronica. It's like, look, this girl could possibly be dead. Show this person some respect. And then, all of a sudden, you know, we come to find out that, I mean, we knew that Melissa was pregnant, but she's only been pregnant for 3 months. I'm definitely questioning that because, you know, her and Jeffrey only had sex like that one time, and that was like seasons ago. So you mean to tell me that with all this time, it was only like a 3-month span? Really, Tyler? Okay, we're gonna run with it. Well, you know, and pretty much, you know, what's going on is that both Hannah and Veronica keep going back and forth. Veronica is still being disrespectful, saying, I'm not leaving until I find out if this thing is dead or not, and whether my grandchild can be saved. And she's saying, this is all your fault, Hannah. Hannah's like, no, it's not. It's your fault. You're the one who drove that child to do this shit. Don't be trying to put this on me. And Veronica is just dead set that, you know, if I don't get the results I want, I'm coming for you. So then she starts asking Hannah, so tell me, why was she even staying here? Was she here because she was staying here with Benny? Was that what's going on? And then finally the paramedics show up and they confirm that she's dead. And she was saying, well, what about the baby? And they asked, how long has she been pregnant? And she says 3 months, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, man. And the paramedic was like, do you know her? That damn bitch looked and was like, I don't know that bitch. I'm like, you cold-hearted tramp. I can't believe you. Like, really? You literally ruined this girl's life, ran her through the mud, drove her to the point of wanting to end herself, because this ain't the first time she tried to kill herself. You know, she's had multiple attempts at suicide, and Veronica still kept taking her to that place. And then had the nerve to say, oh, I don't know that bitch. Oh, because pretty much she didn't care about Melissa. She just wanted the grandchild, because that's something to hold over Jeffrey, supposedly to try to make him straight. And then she tells Hannah, you ruined my life. And she says, she's like, I ain't do nothing. If anything, you the reason why that girl is dead. And then she was saying, oh, so how'd you get this house, Hannah? Huh? How'd you come up? So what? You got you a new church? You preaching? Or are you out here, or maybe it's cat, or maybe you hooking, just like your damn daughter. I was like, ooh, like, Veronica, you are asking to get busted, like, seriously. And then she pretty much says that, I'm gonna get you for this. You should have let me in there, but because you didn't, now she's dead, and I blame you for this. Because of you, my grandchild is dead, and I'm gonna make sure you feel my wrath and all of that. And Hannah just gave her this look like, bitch, bring it. I'm with it. What you gonna do? Because Hannah been over Veronica and her mess, so Hannah ready. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. Then you see that she gives a call to Jeffrey and says that I need to talk to you, and I will find you, so you need to meet me. You need to meet me immediately. And then she hangs up. But then while Hannah went into the house, we see that Derek shows up, and Derek is actually there to do a job or whatever. And then she asks he asks Veronica, so what's going on? She says, oh, somebody then jumped off the roof, and sadly nobody will ever remember her. It is what it is. And while they're going back and forth, Hannah sees them talking. Little does Hannah know that Derek and Veronica used to mess around, but you can tell she noticed something ain't right with that. So eventually Veronica gets in her car and she pulls off. That's when Hannah comes back outside to talk to Derek, and he lets her know what happened is that somebody that she knew just committed suicide, that girl Melissa or whatever. And he was saying that he really is there to like really comfort her and everything, but then he tells her that he has to work on an AC unit on the building, because Catherine owns that whole complex. She doesn't just own that apartment. She owns the whole thing. So he's there to work on an AC unit, but he says he's going to come back and talk to her. So we definitely seeing that, yeah, he's definitely got feelings for Hannah, but once Veronica gets a whiff of that, oh, trust and believe, that's going to be some shit too. So we just got to stay tuned. Next, I'm going to talk about Derek and Jeffrey, but I'm not going to waste too much time on this because I'm just getting so fed up with this storyline, and I'm totally getting fed up with the both of them. But one thing I could say in this scene, Derek finally told Jeffrey the truth about his ass, and it's something that we have all been saying about him, is the fact that he's loving the drama, that he's in love with that Derek is like, Derek just pretty much, I'm sorry, why did I say Derek? I'm sorry, I meant Justin. Forgive me, y'all. Justin and Jeffrey. My bad. Like, y'all gonna be wondering, who the fuck is Derek? My bad. Well, Derek was the name of the guy that's talking to Hannah, but I meant to say Justin. Justin pretty much tells Jeffrey the truth that, yeah, but what this whole situation is telling me though, because, yeah, you keep telling me to leave and you don't want to be bothered with me. But this situation is telling me that you're in love with me too. Because if you weren't in love with me, you would have got me to leave you alone. Which is true. And then he was saying that, you really like the attention. You love the drama. And personally, no one has ever been in love with you the way I am before. Someone who's willing to risk any and everything to be with you. You've never had that. So yeah, you're attracted to this also. But he's saying, but this is sick. Yeah, and he says, yes, and you love it. You love the drama. And he was like, well, you're enjoying this. And he was like, yeah, but who else has ever loved you in this way? Who has ever, and he's saying that, he's like, but that I love you and all this shit. And he was like, no, you like to be in control. And he was saying that, well, and he was saying, and then like Justin was like, well, who else could ever love you this way? He said, my mother. He was like, huh. And he's saying that, yeah, just like my mother, you want to be in control. And he says, yeah, and you don't want to change it. You like to be dominated. Obviously, I like what I like, and you like what you like. I'm like, you better tell the truth, Justin, because I'm getting sick of Jeffrey and this bullshit, playing all defenses and shit. You like this crap. You like the fact that he's into you. You like the fact that he'll do any and everything to be with you. You're getting off on it. But then you try to play, you know, passive aggressive when you're confronted with it. You're like, oh, won't you just leave me alone? He's like, won't you leave? And he's like, I'm not leaving. He's like, well, fine, I leave. He's like, where you going? Because if you're gonna be there, I'm gonna be there too. I'm like, but the thing about it, Jeffrey's allowing it to happen. So at the end of the day, if you're really tired of this fool, you do something about it. But then, like, before he leaves, he was like, he had to go back to the station. He was like, oh you and don't let that guy back up here again, because all he's gonna do is probably drug you and take your money. And he was like, well, since you know you like being controlled, maybe I should bring him back up here to see what you gonna do. He's like, I gotta go, and I'll be watching you. He's like, yeah, I know you will. I'm like, two of them them two are made for each other, because they both crazy as shit. So I'm gonna move on. So pretty much, we see Candace is in her room, and in comes RK and this guy Malik. Malik is the hitman that she's gonna use to supposedly convince Hannah to give up the 8 million whatever. You know, the 8 million plus. And he pretty much at first was like, you know, okay, you know, she was saying like, look, I got a money problem, and you know, I need the money back, and I'll make it worth your while. And he was like, okay, so who's the person? And she lets him know, it's my mother. And he's like, for real, Candy? And she's like, come on, dude, don't act like you ain't never beat up no old ladies before. But he was like, this is your mother though. You know, this is your mom, Candace. I mean, everybody in the hood like your mom, man. Like, why would you want me to do this shit? And he's like, and she's like, look, I'm not telling you to hurt her. I'm telling you to convince her to give up that money, and that it would be in her best interest to give up that money. So pretty much she says that I'll be in touch with you and I'll let you know when the time to strike. And he was like, well, what about Benny? She's like, look, I'll get Benny out of the way so you can actually go there and you won't have to worry about anything. So I'm like, this is gonna be interesting on how this is gonna play out. So she sent him away, but while she was there, while she was talking to them, she gets a call from Benny. Benny's at the Artesian, and she tells Benny the room that she's in, and she sends them away. And then RK was like, well, you know, we got about 5 minutes. She's like, get the hell out of here, RK. RK with his old hot dick ass. Like, that part just had me rolling. Like, he's still trying to have sex with Candace, and Candace is so over it. So Benny comes in there, and he literally goes off on Candace. He's like, you took the money from Jen Cryer, didn't you? And she was like, yeah. She's like, so you blackmailed him again? She's like, no. That money he owed to me. And she's like, don't nobody owe you nothing, Candace. Why can't you see that shit? She was like, no. What happened was that I made a score. He hired somebody to take the money back from me. Well, actually, it was David, you know, who hired Oscar to take the money back from her. And she's like, now I got it back plus interest, you know. And like Benny let her know, like, look, you are crazy. This is a deadly game. And she said, and he like began to read her everything she did. You know, when she ripped off, when she got the millions. You know, when she got all the millions or whatever, and She had bought him the, you know, the tow yard, the mansion, and all of that, and all of that got ripped away from him. So he literally read her every damn thing she did with that money, and look at the end of the day, they still don't have nothing to show for it. So he just kind of let her know, like, Candace, you are literally playing this deadly game, and you know, this is wrong. Like, why can't you see how wrong this is? And she pretty much says that, look, I got a hit and I can give you $1 million. And he was like, I'm not doing this. And he was like, well, look, you know, and he says, and you know, mommy is not going to give you that money. She was like, well, you need to convince her. You need to convince her to give up that money. And he was like, look, she's not going to do it. All right. She's not going to do it. She's like, you know, you about to give up $8 million. You will never get an opportunity like this in your life again. Are you seriously going to do this? And he was like, you know, and he was saying that, look, mommy is not going to give up the money. She's probably going to turn it to the police or the FBI, and it is what it is, you know. And he's like, you know, I don't have a choice. And she's like, yeah, you don't have a choice, but I do have a choice. I'm going to talk to her myself. And I'm like, Candace, when he finds out that you tried to put a hit out on your mother, he is going to flip the fuck out on you, Candace. Like, seriously. But Candace right now don't give no fucks. She's like, I want that money, and I will do anything by any means to get that $8 million back. So pretty much he ends up leaving. She calls Gia and tells Gia, describes Gia, you know, what Benny's wearing and how he looks, and tells him that, you know, get his attention and keep him here and don't let him leave. So she meets him at the elevator. She fakes bumps into him, and she kind of goes off or whatever, and they go back and forth, and she's saying, I'm so frustrated, and she fakes like she's about to break down, and he kind of was like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I'm kind of going through it too. And you know, they talk about their frustrations. Next thing you know, they're at the bar having a drink. She creates the story that she's from Pittsburgh and that she's a nurse at a convention. And, you know, of course, she's pretty. So immediately, you know, Benny got a hot dick. And Benny is going to put his dick up in anything that give him, you know, any pretty girl that that got a nice body and got a nice ass. Benny going to try to get her. So here we see Benny at the bar. They kind of flirting, going back and forth, whatever. While he's at the bar, we get a scene with Uncle Vinny and Mitch. Uncle Vinny's now out his coma, and he's like, the son of a bitch is dead. And he was saying that, you know, and he's saying that, look, I know about, he says, so he says that, yeah, Unc gave a description of a black guy who did this. He said, ain't no black guy do this to me. So he's like, so Benny didn't do this? He was like, no. It was some clean cut kid, like a rich kid or whatever. And he says, you know, find him. And he was like, okay, I'll let the family. He's like, no, I want you to find him. But he's like, well, I just look, do what the fuck I said. I want you to find him. So now, Mitch, being the person that always wanted to be out of the family business, he's now in it, and even more so. So now he's responsible of finding the person that assaulted Uncle Vinny. But then the Uncle Vinny lets him know that ATM machine, I have a record of it, and you'll find it on the computer behind the bar. Get access to the computer and get his information and find out where he is so we can get his ass. So I'm like, they about to find Wyatt, and the fact that Wyatt's in jail, he ain't gonna be that damn hard to find. So that's gonna be some shit. So after that, we see that Mitch calls Benny while he's at the bar with Gia and lets Benny know that, okay, you're in the clear. And he's like, I told you I ain't do nothing. And he was like, yeah, you're right, I should have trusted you, but it was cloudy, and I had to get to the bottom of shit. But he says that, okay, but we need to talk though. And he was like, yeah, alright. And he lets him know he's at the Artesian, and he tells him he's gonna meet him there. So back to Gia and Benny, they're flirting with each other, going back and forth. But then, you know, pretty much he's like, you know, I gotta go, whatever. And then she was like, what? You're not gonna ask for my number? And he was like, well, the thing is, I gotta go and all this. She's like, no, you know, you should actually stay, and we should actually, you know, get past, you know, our frustration. She's like, I told you stuff about me, but you haven't really told me nothing about you. So she convinces him to stay, and, you know, they order more shots, and RK is pretty much the bartender. RK gets a call from Candace and lets him know that, look, you know, he asks her, like, she lets him know that, look, you see that guy? Who's the guy that G is talking to? And he describes Benny. She's like, okay, you know, make sure you get him drunk and make sure he doesn't leave the hotel. But he's like, you want me to drug him? She's like, no, just get him drunk. So now she got that worked out. We see after that, Candace calls Malik and lets him know now's the time and you won't get another chance. So now old boy's on his way to go after Hannah. So then we get a scene with damn Jim and Catherine. Jim is mad as hell because, you know, Catherine done turned Wyatt in. And she's like, he needs to pay for his crime. And he's like, you know, the problem is, he said that you're about to send our son back to jail. You forget that he got raped the last time he was in jail, and you're going to send him back to that? I had the situation handled, and you had to go fuck it up. And she's like, no, you didn't. You was going to have Benny go down for this shit. That's what you were going to do. But he said that, yeah, I had it handled, and you fucked it up. She was like, but that's just it, Jim. We keep doing this shit for Wyatt, and Wyatt hasn't learned anything. Like, he needs to pay for what he's done. And he was saying that, you think I'm going to sit back and let my son go to prison? She says, you ain't got no choice. He says, you damn right I got a choice. And I will do anything to save my son. Anything. Unlike his ungrateful excuse of a damn mother and shit. And then all of a sudden that damn Hannah walked in and was like, I said the same damn thing. So now she knows that he was going to frame Benny to take the fall for what Wyatt did. So of course, this definitely pissed Hannah off. So pretty much they go. So pretty much Hannah and Jim go back and forth, and she's like, "You need to tell me why you was talking to my son." She's like, "I don't have to speak to you." She's like, "Well, you know, you are gonna speak to me. What the hell are you doing? You know, at the jail, you know, my son." And also, Catherine was like, you were there at the jail trying to interrogate him?" She's like, "Yes, he was." And he was like, yeah, I was there. But personally, I don't have to. He's like, personally, I don't have to explain myself to the maid. But she's like, oh yeah, but you're gonna explain to me why was it you talking to my brother? And she's like, oh yeah, so is that the reason why that money's in Benny's account? And then all of a sudden Catherine was like, you mean to tell me that whore took money from you again? And she was like, and Hannah was like, pump your brakes, boo-boo. That's still my child. She's like, I'll talk about it all day through Sunday, but I'm not gonna let you do it. And then, you know, pretty much she says that, and she pretty much says that, yeah, and then like, sorry, then Jim is still saying that, well, I don't have to explain myself to you. She's like, you need to explain yourself to me, because if you want your money back, you're gonna tell me what I need to know. And he was like, what the hell you gotta do with this? She says, because it's my account. And he's like, no, it's not. It's Benny's account. Like, no, it's a joint account. We both own signatures on it. And if anything, if this is your money, tell me exactly how much is in it. He literally gave the dollar amount and the cent. Told her exactly how much money was in that account. She was like, yeah, it's accurate. And she was saying, like, now, was that so hard? But then she was saying that, why was you in there talking to my son though? Like, like why was you gonna try to get him to go down for something he didn't do? And he said that I actually wasn't going to frame your son. I threatened him that if he didn't give me back the money, I would have turned him in. That's pretty much what the conversation was. And she says that, so why didn't you just say that beforehand? And she was saying, he said again, I don't feel I need to explain myself to the maid. And besides, that whore of a daughter of yours has again, has again done something to rip me off, and she's always playing games, and I wonder where, and again, your daughter's a whore, and I wonder who she got that from. I was like, oh, Jim, you really trying to go there? Like, for real, you want to talk about your both of your damn kids? Because Amanda and Wyatt were completely screwed up. Now, the thing about it, Benny and Candace screwed up as well. They got their issues. But Jim, you can't talk about nobody's parenting. You, of all people, can't say shit about somebody's parenting whatsoever. So pretty much she says, okay, I'm gonna go get your damn money. So we see that she ends up leaving, and then Wyatt Jim tells Catherine this ain't over. She says for now it is, and she walks out too. So I think Hannah gonna get the money out and gonna give it to Catherine, and I think that's how that's gonna go down. So then we see Wyatt's in jail, and he gets a visit from George, and then George is letting them know, like, I can't believe you did this. Like, you cut a guy's throat. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. It's my mom and dad. My mom and dad did this. I'm like, you junky piece of shit. You still trying to blame your mom and dad for something that you did. And because your mother gave you up, you still trying to get them caught up. And then he was saying, they took my inheritance. And, he's just wilding out because he still got that junkie itch, and he's still looking to get high. But then George is letting them know that, look, we need to build a solid case, so I need for you to you can give me a confession that we can record, because I took over Jennifer Salison's case, so you'll still get immunity for that whole situation with little Lizzie and all that. You'll still get immunity for that crime. So I just need for you to cooperate and give me some more information, because we need a lot of solid evidence in order to take them down, because if not, they'll walk. So he's like, oh great, so if I help you with this, would you get me out of here? And he was saying that Wyatt, you got some serious crimes against you, bruh. Because the reality is you are being charged with assault, and on top of it, you did that to, well, he didn't tell him that he was a mob member, but he says that, but you got some serious charges stacked against you, and this crime has nothing to do with a previous crime. So yeah, you got immunity for the whole situation with Lizzie and this whole situation, but with this situation with the stabbing, you on your own. And that damn Wyatt is saying, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not saying anything until I get out of here. I'm getting out of here. And then pretty much he lets them know that, look, you got immunity for the first case, but you do not have immunity for this one. And Wyatt is just determined he ain't saying shit until you get out of jail. But Wyatt's an idiot because, dude, you're now, this whole new charge you got for stabbing Uncle Vinny, you ain't getting no immunity for that. As a matter of fact, you probably won't live to even go to trial, because Uncle Vinny after your ass. And then, like, George just got to the point, he's like, you know what? I guess it's, you're making a big mistake. And then we see that George is mad because he was using, because Wyatt was that linchpin to take them down, and now Wyatt's not cooperating. So what you gonna do, George? But we know that George is hell bent on taking down the Criers because they killed Jennifer. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. Then the end of the episode, we see the aftermath of the damn explosion at David and Erica's place. And we see that damn Erica has been overcooked up in the damn car. We literally see like her with the bun, and it's just like she's done. Burnt to the core. And we see that David was tossed due to the explosion from the impact, but we see that he's unconscious. So we pretty much got a casualty. So Erica's dead, but there was still a pulse with David, but David's in critical condition. So we see that that's where the episode ended. So now we see the aftermath of the explosion. But I was like, damn, Veronica, you evil bitch. You better hope that David don't live, because if he does, David's gonna retaliate big time. Because you damn near, because this ain't the first time she done tried to kill you, David. And if anything, Jim Crier did say a while back that you should have let me kill her when I had the chance, but you didn't want me to kill her. So now look what she's done. And this is the second woman that David was with that she done took out. So this is gonna be some really good shit. And we just see that, yeah, everything is leading to hell. And eventually, if you keep going down the road to hell, you're gonna see some fire. So that's what I have, everybody. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell to get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots. So until next time, everybody, take care.